Well, at this point, I think we can consider Project Veritas is collapsed and closed. Hey, everybody, this is Tom's Talk Show, and we've been seeing all these things going back and forth with Project Veritas over the last, I don't know, a few weeks, and things kind of going on, and no real statement from James O'Keefe at all. We've gotten statements and different things from people, or around the board will put out a little mention of something about what's going on. Oh, everything's fine. It's all right. He just took time off. Blah blah. All this stuff. And they put out a letter today, and then we also got a leaked video. So this is odd. Project Veritas is the one typically going into other companies leaking the video, but somebody in James's group decided to take this video and get it to Tim Pool, who then just posted it raw, unedited, completely through the entire. It's like 44 minutes if you want to go watch it. I'll put a link in the description down below about this video. I'd watched the whole thing. It's very straight from the heart. It's very, open and honest, which is all that anybody has ever expected from James O'Keefe. It's all anything anybody has ever kind of seen from him, his open, honesty about things. And that is what's, in the end, right, I think that's what's going to, keep him going. So this is a letter from the board of directors on the Project Veritas website stating, today James O'Keefe decided to remove his belongings from headquarters. So that sentence right there immediately brings to thinking, okay, then they go on to say, as today's President's Day, their office is closed. So those two things right there mean like, oh, did James break back into the office and get all of his stuff and then run out? That's what they're portraying. And this right just becomes disingenuous, immediately. The board management made numerous attempts over the last 14 days to have a conversation with him, but he ignored our outreach and decided instead to leak private information to others by himself or proxy. Well, you can have conversations with other people, but he, in his video, he kind of explains, they told me not to talk to anybody, and the conversations that he had were, just things that, why is the board doing this? Basically were his comments to other people. As of today, President's Day, their office is closed. We had a board meeting scheduled for tomorrow where James was invited. We also had a board meeting Friday, February 10th. Now, he did say that February 10th, he was supposed to be on February 2nd, way back before all that. He was told that he's supposed to take several weeks off and do nothing, not communicate with anybody at all. So he's kind of said he didn't know there was another board meeting. He got told about the February 10th board meeting where they decided that they suspended him, removed him from CEO, and removed him from the board. And discussions of financial malfeasance, they have a list of that, and James, he expresses it, in his video that he has, which is here on YouTube on Tim Pool's site. So their letter, if you just read through their letter, they're like, wow. So this is obviously legal speak. This is obviously through several attorneys, and probably PR people and everything else. So they keep throwing this thing that he's been wasting money. He's been doing, horrible things and all this stuff, just trying to slander his name, basically taking down their own company. And, yeah. So some of the things, $14,000 on a charter flight to meet someone to fix his boat under the guise of meeting with a donor. Now, if you're trapped, so I'm going to I got to go to three different places. I got to go A, B, and C, and B, I can go while I'm there. I can try and meet with a donor, and my boat, needs to be fixed. And I want to check and make sure that's okay, and then continue on to see. It's not like he was in New York and he said, "Oh, my boat in California needs somebody to look at that, so I'm just going to fly there, right, and then fly back on a charter flight." No, it's probably him bouncing across the country around somewhere. At one of those stops, he went and checked out. You can schedule these things, right? I mean, that's so easy to explain, right? And that's kind of what he didn't really get into that one so much, but I'm sure there's an explanation. Then another, he's talked about the $150,000 in black cars over the 18 months. Well, that's basically, if you just are doing like Uber, that can be, $150,000. I did the calculation. If you break it down per day, that's 277 plus a little bit of dollars a day. So that's really easy to see if you have to go get off an airplane, even take Uber, right? You've got, the Uber black car, and then you've got a group of 8 people, so you need 2, maybe 3 of them, right? That can easily be, $1,000, to get people from A to B and, keep them safe as they're moving between different locations. That really makes absolutely no sense. They said there was another charge for like $12,000 that they said this was for his wedding. And as many people know, James O'Keefe is not married. So I don't know how they could pay for his wedding. It actually was the money for the Christmas party, right? So they're taking these things and just moving, money around. I mean, my thing is if you start lying if it's very easy to see through what you're saying and figure out what you're saying in, your details, if your details fall and break down really quickly, the rest of everything that you say becomes garbage, right? I mean, if I go through, James O'Keefe's video and I start pulling things out and say, well, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong, then that would break down. But through his video, things really add up, right? Things, they told him to go off grid. They told him not to talk to anybody for the next 2 weeks and go. He went on a hiking camping thing with Robert Kennedy Jr. He has pictures and evidence of tweets that went out that Robert Kennedy put out that said, hey, we're out here, we're hiking, we're doing stuff, enjoying some time off, right? So that proves James's side, not Project Veritas board side. So it just seems, they did one thing where they had all of this information and they brought him in and grilled him over it for 6 hours. I mean, and didn't allow him to speak or respond. Then James O'Keefe said they gave him like 10 minutes. I'm sure they gave him a little bit more time than that, but still to dump 6 hours of information on you and say, what's all this? And not have you with any evidence, give you any time, it should be, you send, a document to you saying, can you fill in some detail on all these charges and information, let them go do research and find out what each of those things went for, and then bring that, to a combined meeting of the board. That's how normally you would do it. You don't hijack, people and just throw them in front of, basically throwing them in front of a bus, right? Just putting them inside there. So they also said, well, we don't need you flying anywhere. We want you doing, donor meetings and stuff with people over Zoom or something like that. I'm like, that's not really, you can do some, I think, maybe follow-up meetings, different things like that over Zoom. But I think if you're going to be garnering a lot of money, I mean, if we look at I pulled up, this is a screenshot from the thing. So in 2012, they had $738,000. In 2020, their revenue was $22 million, almost double what it was in 2019. So a few years, it just basically doubled. And that's because James O'Keefe is the head of the company and he goes out. So at the end, he's stating that the company has completely removed him. He's done. He's out completely. So those are kind of his words. So I take them as fact. So, and then he said at the end, he had a bunch of people in the room that he was doing this video for that got leaked through Tim Pool, that he is done. And then he said he's going to pick up a couple of his things and put them in a box, put them in his car, and leave. And that wherever he goes, and that the big thing is that he's not done with his mission, right? He's still going forward, right? He's still going to be the James O'Keefe looking into these things, exposing corruption and exposing lies and stuff from all these big companies. So I think the amount of money that Pfizer had, I mean, I have zero evidence as to this other than the fact that it's been one person in the board who, James O'Keefe said, basically, mostly it's been one person in the board who's been kind of pushing this. I think Pfizer got to them. I think that's the biggest thing. I think Pfizer went to them, said, how's $50 million, which would be nothing to Pfizer, right? To say $50 million, you just start spreading our message. You do what we tell you to do, right? That would be my guess as to, I mean, I have no evidence to this, but this is really what it all sounds like. So Pfizer, so I guess in that case, even though Pfizer kind of has lost a lot of credibility, on the other side, if that were true, that they pumped money into one of the board of directors and basically has bought them off. Again, I have no evidence. This is just me just doing, some guesswork here. If that's actually true, then they've on the other good side for Pfizer, right? They've brought Project Veritas down, but you've not taken James O'Keefe down. Here at the end of his video, he says wherever he goes, he's going to start all over again. I'm sure that he has the personal connection with all of the donors. The board doesn't really, the other employees don't. It's all James O'Keefe. And he basically said I got from what he was saying, his fight is not over, the battle is not over, that he's going to continue on. He basically said, I don't know what the new company is going to be called, but I'm sure if anybody of you want to come over, that he'd take them. But I mean, that's kind of gets into poaching laws, I guess, a little bit. But if they come over on their own, then that's different. So, but yeah, I think so. Project Veritas will be, the doors will be shuttered here pretty soon, and some new company. Look forward to the new company that James O'Keefe founds and see if he can, if a few donors move, and then boom, he's going to start. I'm sure it will start all over again under some new name, and have some new behind the scenes things and new things come out and stuff, and that would be pretty cool and amazing. I don't know if it's going to be something with Robert Kennedy Jr. or what. Who knows? But it just seems that this whole letter from the board of directors, Project Veritas will continue to be transparent to the public as more information released over time. The fight for truth will never stop. Well, so this is wrong. This probably is wrong. And yes, he cleaned out his belongings, but it didn't sound like you portrayed it as the office was closed and he just went in and took all his stuff. This is how you were framing that, right? So don't end your statement with the truth when your statement is full of a lot of lies. So, I mean, here, the board still wants to speak with James. We did not fire him, nor did we want him to resign. when in the video it shows him getting letters saying you're done, right? So that again is even a lie. So, and it may just be this one board member that they need to get removed and kind of smooth things back over again. I don't know, but it seems like either the whole board has gone corrupt or somebody in the board has gone that way. So anyway, what do you think? I know this has been a story going on and on, back and forth for quite a while. Please go and watch that full James O'Keefe video. I think it's almost up to 250,000 views. 226,000 views. It was published about 18 hours ago, so that's getting quite a bit of traction on Tim Pool's site. So yeah, I mean, long live James O'Keefe. I think that's the message, and long live his vision. Right. All right. There you go. Thanks for watching. I think we're getting closer to the total truth about everything here. All right. Take care.